Hello everyone, it's Destiny, and today we'll be going over Gilgamesh's kit, team synergies, and his builds. Before we get into today's video, I'd love to know which 4.4 or 4.5 character you're the most excited for. And if you enjoyed today's video, consider subscribing to see some more content from me, and now let's get straight into it. Gilgamesh will be a lightning destruction character and revolves around his interest mechanic, being able to unleash a joint follow-up attack with Saber similar to Rin and Archer, and more. Starting off with his interest mechanic, depending on how many points of interest Gilgamesh has, this will increase his speed and crit damage. Gilgamesh will gain interest when allies take action, use their ultimates, or when Gilgamesh uses his ultimate. On top of Gilgamesh gaining interest when allies use their ultimate, he will also gain King's Burden. This will increase his ultimate damage dealt, and he will also be able to regenerate a fixed amount of energy equal to a percentage of the energy consumed, which helps Gilgamesh get much more energy for his ultimate. Additionally, once Gilgamesh reaches 10 points of interest for the first time, he'll enter the interest peaked state, and in this state he can only use his skill for the rest of the battle, and after using his skill, interest will reset. Speaking of his skill will grant him King's Acknowledgement, which will allow Gilgamesh to ignore a percentage of enemies' defenses, lasting for multiple turns. His skill will also deal lightning damage to one designated enemy and adjacent enemies, and the defense ignore is great, as this can further increase not only Gilgamesh's skill damage, but his ultimate damage as well. And this can be further amplified with allies who further reduce enemies' defenses, which we'll go over shortly. As for Gilgamesh's ultimate, he will deal damage onto all enemies and then additionally deal 10 instances of damage to one random enemy. His ultimate will be a huge source of his damage output, and having allies who can use their ultimates often assists with getting Gilgamesh more energy for him to use his ultimate. Now, as for Gilgamesh's joint follow-up attack with Saber, whenever Gilgamesh or Saber attack enemies, they'll accumulate one attack tally. And after either character attacks, if the attack tally reaches 8, Gilgamesh and Saber will launch a joint follow-up attack dealing damage onto all enemies. And then Gilgamesh will gain interest, Saber will regenerate energy, and the damage dealt when she uses her next ultimate will be boosted as well. And after the joint follow-up attack, the attack tally will reset, so you'll need to get a tally of 8 again to launch another joint follow-up attack with Gilgamesh and Saber. This provides a special synergy with Saber in particular, allowing you to deal more damage onto enemies and provide Saber with more energy and buffs. Additionally, Gilgamesh will be able to increase the attack and crit damage of allies while on the field as well. And now that we've gone over Gilgamesh's kits, I thought I'd ask, did you know this about Yao Guang? Yao Guang is a top tier Elysian support, but apparently that's not enough anymore because she somehow became a charger. Okay, let me explain. This is the U-Green and Honkai Star Rail series gift box, and at first it looks like a normal collab box until you notice the design. It's fully inspired by Yao Guang's peacock theme, and the first thing you see is a magnetic power bank, but it's surprisingly thin with 10,000 milliamp hours. T2 15-watt wireless charging, and it can charge your phone about 2 times. Then there's the 65-watt charger, small enough to fit in your pocket but powerful enough to handle travel setups. And everything actually fits into one pouch. Even Find Track is included, so if you lose your gear, you can track it instantly. But that's not all. There are also collectibles, a chibi stand, a badge, and a holographic ticket, all exclusive to this gift box. And if you need even more power, there's a smart display power bank that can charge 3 devices at once. So yeah, Yao Guang didn't just become a top tier support, she became a real life asset for your devices. If you'd like your own U-Green and Honkai Star Rail gift box, make sure you check out my links below and you'll have a chance of winning a limited time gold Yao Guang collectible. Now let's carry on. Now when it comes to team building with Gilgamesh, you can either pair him with Saber or go with a main DPS team. Gilgamesh will be able to provide Saber with attack buffs, crit damage buffs, the joint follow-up attack which will deal even more damage onto enemies, as well as give Saber more energy and boost her next ultimate's damage. Gilgamesh will be one of Saber's new best partners, and for the 3rd slot you can use another support, then a sustain of choice. Great support options can be ones that provide buffs or debuffs that both Saber and Gilgamesh can benefit from. For example, Mortenax Blade. Mortenax Blade will be able to reduce all enemies' defenses, inflict vulnerability onto enemies, and can benefit both Gilgamesh and Saber's damage output. You can also use Tribi in this slot to provide ult-type res pen for both Gilgamesh and Saber, as well as inflicting a vulnerability debuff onto enemies when Tribi's zone from her ultimate is active. Sypher can inflict vulnerability debuffs onto enemies, record the damage being dealt onto enemies to unleash considerable damage with her ultimate. She can also help with skill point recovery for the team, and depending on what light cone you use on your Sypher, she can further debuff enemies. Ruame will be able to provide speed, damage boost, all-type res pen. If you have E1 Ruame, then 20% defense ignore as well. You can use Welt for his defense shred onto enemies, boosting the damage dealt by allies when they attack enemies afflicted with weightless. And if you also have E4 Welt, he'll be able to reduce the all-type resistance of enemies, further increasing the team's damage output. You can use Remembered Trailblazer as a free-to-play character though, for their true damage buff from M support. There's also Sunday, who can give more crit rate, crit damage, and energy for an ally, and so on. Overall, for the third slot, I would try to go with a support that further amplifies Gilgamesh and Saber's damage output, with one of the strongest options being Mortenax Blade. As for the last slot, one of the best options will be Huohuo for Gilgamesh teams. Huohuo will be able to provide healing, cleansing, and one of the most important benefits being energy from her ultimate. When Huohuo uses her ultimate, she'll give energy for all allies, and this benefits Gilgamesh's huge ultimate cost and helps the rest of the team use their ultimate sooner. Which once again, Gilgamesh will get a percentage of the energy consumed when allies use their ultimates, resulting in even more energy for him. As a result, Huohuo is one of the best sustain options you can use on a Gilgamesh team. Now when it comes to Gilgamesh without Saber, one of his best teams will be him alongside Ashveil, Mortenax Blade, and Huohuo. Gilgamesh will benefit from the defense shred from both Ashveil and Mortenax Blade, highly benefiting his damage output, plus Ashveil and Blade also make a strong core with one another due to their frequent attacks, being able to help with each other's ultimates, and their debuffs further amplifying their damage output. Ashveil benefits from the frequent attacks from Blade to gain more energy for his ultimate, and Blade benefits from Ashveil's follow-up attacks to gain more charge and attack enemies more often. Huohuo works well as a final slot here as well, since she can give more energy for Gilgamesh, Ashveil, and Blade, helping them use their ultimates sooner. If you don't have both Ashveil and Blade though, and you only have one of them, when it comes to only having Ashveil, your third slot on the team can be Sypher for the debuffs she provides and frequent attacks. There's Tribi for her follow-ups, all-type res pen, vulnerability debuffs, and these options can work for a third slot if you had Blade instead of Ashveil as well, but ideally you would want to use all three together alongside Huohuo, or if you did go sustainless, then another support for your final slot. And now that we've gone over team synergies for Gilgamesh, let's go over builds. For Gilgamesh's relics, you can go with Scholar Lost and Erudition, Eagle of Twilight Line, Genius of Brilliant Stars. Although with Genius, do keep in mind if you are using Gilgamesh with Mortenax Blade and Ashveil, with their defense reduction debuffs and the defense ignore from Gilgamesh giving himself the King's Acknowledgement buff, you will overcap on defense shred. So in this case, you will want to use a different relic set if you're paired with Mortenax Blade and Ashveil. As for Planars, you can use the new Cosmic Science Planar set, but the other Planars you can use can be Vonwak, City of Converging Stars for a team-wide buff, Inert Salcedo, Isamo if you are with another destruction character, for example Saber, and so on. And as for main stats, you'll want to go with crit rate or crit damage body, although I prefer crit rate as Gilgamesh is able to buff his own crit damage from his interest stacks. And you want to aim for as close to 100% crit rate within battle as you can. You can use speed or attack boots, lightning or attack orb with a preference for lightning orb, and attack or energy rope. As for light cones, you can use Gilgamesh's signature, a thankless coronation, a trail of bygone blood on the Flamineon, and a secret vow. And I would love to know if you're all excited for Gilgamesh, if you'll be picking him up from the free character selector between him and Archer, or if you're just going to end up going with Archer instead, potentially for E0 Archer if you missed him the first time, or even an E1 Archer if you're deciding to get him a second time now. I'd love to know what you're going to go for, and I hope all of you enjoyed today's video. And good luck to all of your pulls in 4.4 or even 4.5 if you're looking forward to the new Robin and Aventurine. I hope all of you have a great day. Peace.